Let's learn how to knit the fur rib dip stitch. You're gonna find this stitch pattern in my Brie ornate sweater, and it's a really fun technique, really easy to do. So all you're gonna need is some yarn to try out this technique, or start your West Knits pattern where you need this fur rib dip stitch, and let's learn how to do it. This is what the fur rib dip stitch looks like when it's completed. I called it the fur rib stitch because it looks like the branches of a fir tree. It works with 3 stitches in stockinette stitch, and I'm doing 2 purl stitches before and after the 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. So I've set up, so follow your West Knits pattern, or you could do a swatch and cast on any number of stitches, and you could do purl 2, knit 3, purl 2, knit 3, purl 2, knit 3, purl 2. So you want it to look like this. And before you do the dip stitch, you want to have 4 rows worked, or 4 rounds. And then the fancy part happens with those stockinette knit stitches. I'm going to purl 2. When you reach those 3 knit stitches, the pattern says dip 1, knit 3, dip 1. So the dip 1 is going to go down, dip down 3 rows below into that middle knit stitch. So locate the center stitch, 1, 2, 3 stitches. This is the center stitch. Go down 1, 2, 3 rows below into the middle of that center stitch, and you're gonna pull a long stitch through. So don't have a short stitch like this. Pull the yarn like that to make a long stitch. Knit 3, 1, 2, 3, and dive down into the same location. So this is the dip 1 after you knit 3. Dive down to knit into the center of that same stitch from 3 rows below. And there you have it. Dip 1, knit 3, dip 1. Let's do it again for you English style knitters. So if you hold the yarn in your right hand, the pattern says dip 1, knit 3, dip 1. Dip 1, 1, 2, 3. 3 rows below into the middle of that center stitch. Pull the yarn through and make a long stitch. Don't worry about exactly how long it is. You just don't want it to be like this, and you don't want it to be like that. That's way too long. So just a long stitch like that. Knit 3, 1, 2, 3, dip 1. Dive down into that same location, wrap the yarn around, pull the yarn through, making a long stitch. Do that throughout the entire row or round, and that gives you the beautiful long dip stitches. Dip 1, knit 3, dip 1. For the fur rib stitch, go into the middle, 1, 2, 3, 3 rows below, make a long stitch, knit 3, dip 1. Whenever it says to dip 1 after you just knitted 3, you're gonna go down here, still into that middle stitch, but you're not gonna go forward, you're going backwards a bit. Whoop. There we go. And I'm gonna purl my last 2 stitches. So that's the dip stitch row, and then follow your pattern closely and do exactly what it says on the next round or row. Whenever you're working the row or round right after you do the dip stitch, you're going to be slipping the dip stitches and knitting or purling the 3 stockinette stitches. So I'm slipping. Do you see those were my dip stitches? Those new stitches that I just got, those will be slipped on your next row or round. I'm looking at the right side, or I'm looking at the wrong side because I'm working flat. But if you were working my sweater or hat in the round, you will be slipping this dip stitch purlwise, and then you'll keep your yarn in the back. So I'm just pretending that I'm working in the round. So when you're doing the second round with those dip stitches, you'll be slipping it, just like that. But follow your pattern closely. The fanciest part was that dip stitch row that we just did. The rest, you just need to follow your instructions. One more time. I'm looking at the wrong side because I'm knitting flat. All right, now the other fancy part. This usually happens on the right side, no matter if you're working flat or in the round. So after you do your dip stitch round and that slip stitch round, you still have those nice long dip stitches there. The pattern will say to slip, slip, knit. Slip the stitches knitwise, knit them together like that. Knit one, knit two together. So these are all very common techniques, but when it's working with those dip stitches, that gets you back to 3 stitches. Whenever we did the dip stitch, that added an extra 2 stitches per column. Now we're going to decrease. Slip, slip, knit. Knitwise, slip, knitwise. Knit those 2 together through the back. Knit 1, knit 2 together. You see how we have 3 stitches again? So that means we're not increasing always. We're adding 2 extra stitches with those dips, but then you're doing a decrease to get back to your 3 stitch column. One more time. I'm purling the purl stitches, and the pattern says slip, slip, knit, decrease, knit 1, and knit 2 together, another decrease. So there you have it. The final row of this stitch pattern is on the wrong side, or on the next round, you just knit the knit stitches and purl the purl stitches. So if you're looking at the wrong side, you'll be knitting these 2 and purling these 3. Knitting these 2 and purling these 3. And then you'll do another dip stitch round. So it's the same technique. If you're doing a dip stitch more than just one time, so this is 1, 2, 3 times I did that dip stitch. So let's say you're looking at your knitting right here and it says dip 1. So whenever you're looking at this column that already has dip stitches in it, just count down. 1, 2, 3. This is where you're going to insert that right needle to pull a strand of yarn through. So that's what it looks like when you add the dip stitches on top of each other. And if it's hard to count, if you're not sure if it's 1, 2, 3, or if you feel like you need to go down one more, it doesn't matter as long as you're going down approximately right here and pulling that new strand of yarn through. This is about the location, 3 rows below. So if you're knitting right here, 3 rows below, you dive into the middle of that center stitch to get this pattern. So make sure it looks like this. If it doesn't, then give it some practice, try again, and the more you practice, the more comfortable it will become, and you will be a dip stitch pro by the end of your project. Well, this is such a fun little textured stitch to add to your knitting. I'm gonna play a lot more with this fur rib dip stitch in some other designs, but feel free to use it in all your own creative projects. If you really liked that technique, there's a lot of other tutorials here on YouTube, and anytime I come out with a new technique or pattern or knit along, you can hear about it in my Westknits newsletter. So sign up for that at westknits.com, and I'll put links to all this good stuff down below so you can get some Westknits kits in the newsletter and get all the latest and greatest in the woolly world of Westknits. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.